1919 was an auspicious year in history. The First World War ended, ushering a drastic change in the world order. The Philippine Islands had been a U.S. territory for 2 decades and was promised independence under the Jones Law of 1916. Progressive reformers saw the country and its people as a major target for modernization, and education was its main weapon. 7 forward-looking Filipinas came together in 1919 to create a school where young women could gain the knowledge and skills that would make them modern women. Paz Marquez Benitez was the first president of the Philippine Women's College. Jose Abad Santos was its first chairman of the Board of Trustees. Francisca Tirona Benitez was the second president, and with her husband Dean Conrado, guided the school from a house on A. Flores Street to its iconic Taft Avenue campus. In 1932, the college became a university, making PWU the first university for women in Asia founded by Asians. It provided a space where innovations in education flourished, and young people were encouraged to be the best that they could be. For over 100 years, the Philippine Women's University has been known as a leader in quality education. In 1934, PWU moved into its main campus on Taft Avenue, and since the 1970s has been co-educational. Located in the heart of Metro Manila, it is easily accessible by public transport and surrounded by affordable housing. Today's PWU offers undergraduate and graduate courses in several fields of study. Its business and management programs are responsive to the needs of industry, using evolving technology for global competence. PWU graduates excel in arts and sciences, education, social work, and diplomacy. Its fine arts and music programs have produced outstanding graduates through a holistic education that treasures heritage as well as excellence. PWU has pioneered in fields such as food science, nutrition and dietetics, medical technology, pharmacy, and nursing. PWU continues to play an essential role in producing graduates who possess the skills that make them competitive in the country and anywhere in the world.
Good afternoon, everybody. May we just remind you, especially our students, for this very amazing afternoon about our virtual netiquette. Please mute your microphone during the program to avoid unnecessary noise, except during the question and answer. You may turn off your cameras while inside the webinar, and after the webinar, the organizers will request for you to open your cameras for documentation.
Please prohibit unnecessary messages in the chat box. I welcome you all in our webinar with the title, Entrepreneur, How to Ride the Tides of the Pandemic. Let us bow our heads for the opening prayer, followed by the Philippine National Anthem.
Let's put ourselves in the presence of our Creator. God of life, we thank you for gathering all of us today in this important event. May you bestow your guidance and blessings on this webinar that is being held today so that we can enjoy and appreciate its importance in our future lives. Bless everyone present today that each may be able to share what she or he has in their mind. Grant good health and safety to all our loved ones left at home, and peace and goodwill, especially in this time of pandemic. May the various activities related to this event be a success. We ask all of this in your name.
This webinar will be discussing two topics by our beloved speakers. For giving us an opening remarks, let us join together in welcoming Ms. Maris Ann B. Tamundong.
Mr. Robin C. Meneses, our professor in Introduction to Meetings, Incentives, Conference, and Events Management. Ms. Pauline Ann Cabrega, owner of Calle Arco. Chef Reynald Andaya, owner of Las Abuelas Bake Shop. Hospitality Management students, small entrepreneurs, students at Philippine Women's University, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. As we ride the tides of the 21st century, we are all caught unprepared by a pandemic, which give each one of us an experience that put us to our limit. This pandemic causes our economy to shutter and worsen the global crisis. This affects so much of the small businesses of our country, and even the big companies need to retrench employees. Worse is to close their operation. But this pandemic will not stop us from reaching our goals and aspiration in life. Our 21st century skills will make us get through and be better. The new normal brought by this pandemic challenges us to be more creative, resilient, and tough. Today, we are blessed to have competent speakers in line with entrepreneurship, their ideas and experience, which they will share to us, will surely guide us, widen our views in businesses, and make us capable to handle our own someday. I, Maris Ann B. Tamundong, welcomes you to this webinar, Entrepreneur, How to Ride the Tides of Pandemic. Sit back, my dearest friends, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tamundong, for gracing our webinar. And now, to give us the first talk, please welcome Ms. Pauline Cabrega. Ms. Pau is a performing artist of Bayanihan, the national dance company of the Philippines, and a pastry chef. Ms. Pau graduated from De La Salle College of St. Benilde with a bachelor's degree in hospitality restaurant and institution management, major in culinary arts. Ms. Pau also manages their family-owned restaurant in Pagsanhan, Laguna, Calle Arco, and always makes sure that she's learning continuously in her chosen career. And always strives harder because, as per Ms. Pau, being in the food industry is a never-ending learning process. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Pauline Ann J. Cabrega.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Pauline Ann Cabrega of Kalya Arco Pagsanghan. I'm here to discuss our struggles and problems during the pandemic and how it affected our business. Can I have the next slide, please? I will just show you our brief history of Kalya Arco Restaurant. So, Kalya Arco Restaurant is established in the year 2006 by Anna and Ronald Cabrega, which are my parents. So, we have been in this industry for 15 years now. And throughout those 15 years, we have established our business. And it is also named after the famous Pagsanghan Arch. So next slide po, please. Our restaurant became famous because of our original Filipino dishes such as sinigang na baka, na may langka, and our other bestseller garlic chicken, which is an original recipe of my father. Next slide po, please. So it was November 2019 when we all heard the news about the coronavirus. Never in our life that we thought or imagined that we will be affected by it. So the first 2 months of 2020, everything was still normal. Our business operations and day-to-day routine are still normal. Not until the month of March, where everything has really changed. There was a news that we'll be on lockdown and businesses should be closed and will not operate until further notice. So for our 15 years in the industry, it's our first time to close our restaurant for a very long period of time. We are really not prepared because it is the first time in our country to experience a pandemic. So I think every businesses naman around the Philippines and around the world is not ready for this pandemic. So we don't have any choice but to close the restaurant. So how did the pandemic affected us? Next slide po, please. So these are the struggles during the pandemic. So I will just discuss this based on our experience. So next slide po, please. First is the loss of income. Since we don't have any operations, so there is no income coming in. Next, our employees lost their jobs. Syempre, as an employer, this has a very big impact on us because some of our employees depend on the restaurant to sustain their everyday life. Also, they are a huge part of our business. So as an employer, it really saddened us that they have to give up their jobs because of this pandemic. Next is, since we are also in catering services, all our events were all canceled. So lahat ng events namin na nakabook ng 2020, they were all canceled and we have no choice but to refund everything. Next is more competition. So when the lockdown started, a lot of people resorted to online selling. All kinds of food and stuff were sold online. Since we don't have our employees and there are really restrictions, they cannot go to the restaurant, we cannot call them to be on call, ganyan. We really cannot sell our food online just yet. So how did we cope up? So next slide po. How did we ride the tides of this pandemic? So first is, next slide po ulit. We follow the trend. So what are the trends during the pandemic? First is online ordering. So when we were allowed again to operate with limitations, we decided to also sell our food online. Now they will order online and it can be delivered or it can be picked up in our restaurant. Actually, we don't have our staff yet. So kami rin personally yung nagde-deliver sa mga customers namin. So my dad will drive and dala namin yung food. So yun, kami rin mismo yung nagde-deliver sa kanila personally. Next is the social media presence. Since the competition during last year's lockdown is through online platforms, we try to be active on social media as possible. So we mainly used Facebook because almost everyone is using it. But you can also use other platform like Instagram or YouTube, pwede rin TikTok if you want, ganun. Kasi syempre yan yung uso ngayon, di ba? So, it was not really easy since everyone is also using social media to promote their business. There was a time pa nga, naisip ko noon, parang wala nang consumers online. Lahat na lang sellers, di ba? So, yon. Next is, Um, think of products to sell. So, since nandito lang kami sa bahay, we cannot go to the restaurant, we cannot produce anything in the restaurant, we were thinking kung pwede ba kami mag-sell ng mga homemade products. Tapos, we were thinking of what product na magiging interested yung mga consumers. Next is baked goods. Siyempre, yan din yung naging trend last year. Almost everyone is baking na. So since me and my sister love baking, we thought of siguro we can sell again baked goods naman. So next po. Ito po yung naisip namin na business during the lockdown last year. So the product that we thought of selling last year. We are selling homemade bagoong during the pandemic. So this bagoong, ito po yung gamit namin sa mga dishes namin like pork binagoongan or pakbet, ganyan. And we thought that yung mga tao, they always look for it. They were asking us if we sell it separately. So we thought of, why not sell the bagoong during this time? So yun, we gather orders during the weekdays. And then sa weekend, dun kami pumunta ng Manila to deliver all the orders of bagoong. So yun, it's a struggle for us kasi nga, we're on our own eh. So we have to survive this na, maybe we can survive this with selling this. I mean, at least we have an extra income with the bagoong, di ba? So lahat ng pwede mong maisip na isell, pwede mo namang ibenta during those time. So next naman is we are also selling home-baked cookies. So these are the first product na me and my sister thought na ibenta during those lockdown. Kasi nga mahilig nga kami mag-bake. So yung sister ko, sabi na, ate, bakit hindi tayo mag-sell ng cookies? And isabay natin siya pag-deliver ng bagoong. So ganun ang ginawa namin. We gathered orders online and then once napupunta kami ng Manila, lahat ng orders dala na rin namin. So yun. So we thought about bagoong and baked cookies para mabenta. So next naman, since hindi rin kami tumatanggap ng events and since lahat ng event namin is na-cancel naman, we offer catering for intimate events. So we offered small intimate events for all occasions. Pero we started it nung nag-lift na ng guidelines na limited na lang ng 5 to 10 persons per gathering. So ayun, parang we thought of bakit hindi na lang din natin i-offer yung services natin. May kitchen naman tayo and since medyo lifted na yung guidelines, pwede na tayo mag-on-call ng mga cook natin to cook. And then, yung mga decorations, kami na lang din. So, yun. So, next is, build a new business. This is our new business built during the pandemic. Me and my sister always bake, and we thought of why not make it into a business. We started selling cookies and then I accepted orders of cake. And ito additional info lang. I was pregnant that time. I found out that I was pregnant when after a month of lockdown na. So I was 5 months pregnant nung tinayo namin tong Bakeses. So we started selling cookies and cakes. So we were surprised that a lot of people started buying our products. Kasi pala, during the pandemic is, hindi naman natitigil lang mga occasions. May mga nagbe-birthday pa rin, may mga nagbe-wedding pa rin, ganyan. So kahit maliit na cake lang or minimalist cakes, ganyan. So, order pa rin sila. So, me being pregnant, it didn't stop me from making cakes and still run the business. So, now, our little bake shop is 1 year old and it was born during the pandemic. And we were proud that we still survive up until now. Next po. So, that everything is back to normal. We are thankful for the advantages that we have. First is, we are already established. So, in 15 years, we made sure that we are established in the market. So we were also the pioneer restaurant here in our area. So we also have a market that keeps going back. So nawala man sila nung lockdown kasi nga hindi sila makapunta dito, ganyan. Nung medyo naging normal na ulit ngayon, they keep going back. So we still have the old market, and now we also have our new market. Kasi nga, through online platform, di ba, nakikita na nila na, oh, open na pala doon. So, pwede na pala tayong pumunta. But with restrictions, of course. And we have to follow the guidelines and protocols. So, as of now, our operations are back to normal. Paunti-unti lang naman. And our employees, thank God, have their job back. And we have events coming up, ganyan. And now we are still selling our bagoong, and our little bake shop is still open. But yun nga, we still follow the protocols that are required. Well, I want to tell you this, that it's never too late to find your passion and hone your skills. Even though there is a pandemic, you can always turn this into an opportunity to learn. And being in any business naman is a never-ending learning. So you have to discover something new today, and you have to bloom where you planted. So next po. So I just want to leave this to all of you guys. You really cannot stop the waves, but you can learn how to ride it. And that is all, and I hope that I inspired you even for a little while.
Thank you for giving and sharing us your survival tips during this pandemic, Ms. Pao.
Now for our second speaker, Chef Ray is an alumnus of the Philippine Women's University. In 2002, he graduated honorable mention with a bachelor's degree in Hotel and Restaurant Management, Master's of Science in Hotel and Restaurant Management in 2011, and currently finishing his doctorate in Business Administration, specializing in Hospitality Management at the Philippine Women's University. Chef Ray received his formal culinary training in Nansmere Hall Hotel in Cheshire, England, head pastry chef of Ibarra's party venues and catering, and a consultant to a number of food service establishments in the Philippines. A multi-awarded chef in the prestigious National Food Showdown, Philippine Culinary Cup, and Food Hotel Asia in Singapore. A former program chairperson of University of Perpetual Calamba, and assistant professor in the Philippine Women's University since 2002. He is currently connected with the College of Tourism and Hospitality Management of University of Santo Tomas, and currently part of the incubation program of DOST, Tomasino Center, to bring innovation in the area of food and hospitality management. Chef Ray is the owner of Las Abuelas Bake Shop, makers of the best ensaymada of May Kawayan. The establishment was featured in UNTV, When in Manila, and GMA's Unang Hirit. Chef Ray is regularly invited by SM, together with the Department of Tourism, to boost the food and culture in Bulacan. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Chef Reynald Andaya.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Chef Reynald Andaya. So for today, I have so many things that I want to share with you, especially my experience running the business for, it's our 5th year actually, last June 25. And we are actually doing great in terms of our sales and in terms of on our operation. Okay, let me just share my screen and okay, give me a second. Okay, so okay, so the title of my presentation is Managing Risk in Food Service Industry, Riding the Tides of Pandemic. To tell you honestly, there is actually, it is not only the pandemic that we should be ready. Most, most of the time, okay, every single day, we need to assess all the risks that we are actually facing, especially when we are running a business. If you're the manager or you're the owner of a business, of course, the least thing that you want to happen with your business is to shut it down. Not because of your ego, but as well as many people are actually uh, working for you. So you have concerns as well on their well-being. So let's start with the presentation. I only have 11 slides for today, but as much as possible, I want you to learn as much as you can. Okay, before we start with the presentation, can you proceed to this website? Kindly click www.menti.com and use the code 5762-3792. I want to know what are your thoughts about the businesses right now, especially the hospitality related businesses. And then we'll try to look at what are the possible reasons that you feel like they are actually missing, so that in the future, if you will get to face this reality, okay, this will not happen to you. Okay, let's go to www.menti.com and then type the code 5762-3792. So I'll be waiting for your answers. So maybe I'm giving you a minute to answer this, and okay, so that I can actually show you as well your answers. Okay, so again, the first question there, if you go to the website www.menti.com, okay, is the first question is, can you cite a hospitality related business brand in your area, okay, that wasn't able to escape the wrath of pandemic? So you can name maybe 2 establishments that you know which shut down their operations maybe last year up to this point of time, and then enter your answer. So I'm waiting actually for your answers. So let me just share my screen so that you can see as well. Okay. May I see your answers? Okay, so okay, so can I see the answers? So participants, kindly click in or submit your answers here at www.menti.com. Okay, so I haven't received any response yet in your end. Okay, Yves, can you see the screen now?
Yes, Chef Andaya.
Okay. So just the last 30 seconds, kindly input in your answers. So again, the link, okay, if you're using the Facebook Live, kindly go to www.menti.com and then use the code 5762-3792. So I want to see your answer. Okay, so answers are coming in. So we have Carinderias are shutting down right now. We have restaurants. Okay, we have the milk tea shops, which was a big thing over the last decade. So we also see hotels here closing down, bars. Okay, majority are answering restaurant, and then small carinderias. Okay, just last 15 seconds so that at least we have. Can you see the answers? Yeah. Okay, so we have here restaurants, Maryland convenience stores. So even convenience stores are shutting down their operations. They are still part of our industry. Okay. Okay, and of course the bars, since we have the liquor ban, so bars are actually closing down their operation. Okay, let's proceed to the second slide. Okay, so in your opinion, why they were not able to survive the pandemic? Okay, so we have reasons here, so you can click either one or two. So the first reason here is you have the financial part, and then we have the customer. So maybe there's a lack of customer. Then we have the management. Maybe the service or the product itself, it's not actually meeting the needs and wants of your customer. Maybe the employees are the problem. And then perhaps marketing is lacking, or maybe there are other factors that they forgot to consider. Okay, so for now, okay, the answer is, as you can see in our slide. So we have here the customer. So maybe there's a problem with the customer. Okay, maybe one reason is that these customers cannot actually go out and then buy the things that they really want. And then others, they are actually pertaining to the financial aspect. So there's lack of money and extra capital to run the business, especially if you shut down the business for quite some time already. Sometimes you need to make the very hard decision of shutting down the business rather than incurring more and more losses. Okay, let's proceed now with our discussion. Okay, let me just stop sharing this. Okay, and let's proceed. So at least we have an idea, okay, coming from your end, perhaps the problem that they are encountering. Okay, 1 second. Okay, can you see again the PPT? Yves, can you see the PPT?
Yes, Chef Ray, it's already presenting po.
Okay, so those are the things that you are actually thinking. But let's try to take a look at the bigger picture on what is really happening with the businesses. I actually interviewed a number of entrepreneurs, not only here in Bulacan, but in other places. And they are actually asking help and asking how I was able to actually manage to run my business during this pandemic. To tell you honestly, our sales actually grew by 400%. So meaning we were not really affected. We actually increased our sales and we are actually enjoying the pandemic. So let's start. First is your marketing. Okay, these are the basic areas of businesses that some entrepreneurs fail to actually look into. Okay, the first one is never stop with your marketing efforts. Even though there is a pandemic, you really need to think of ways on how people will get to know your product. As mentioned earlier, social media marketing, okay, is a big thing. But again, there are so many competitors. And you all know, no, there was a hit with the ube pandesal, with the different products, okay? But you need to make a stand and then find, okay, the people who can actually avail your product. The second one is allot a budget for your marketing activities. Dahil nagtitipid ang ibang businesses, they tend to cut, okay, the budget for their marketing. Right now, I'm only spending around 3% of my gross sales for my marketing efforts. And that 3% actually generated the times 4 of my gross sales. So if I was earning before ng around 200,000, so if you multiply it by 4, okay, that's how we are making today. And to tell you honestly, the business is not that big. Okay, we only have 4 employees, including me as the 5th one. Okay, so I make sure that I have a budget for my marketing. Either if I'll be using the traditional marketing or making use of the social media marketing. I think I'm spending around 8,000, 6 to 8,000 for my Facebook advertisement. And then know what is the applicable way of getting the attention of your target market. At times, especially if your product, the product that you are selling will not appeal for those people who are using the social media, then might as well think of other ways on how you can bring your products, okay, to the people who would like those products. Okay, I have this one example. We were actually featured last year with the Smart Communities. The Smart is the telecommunication company of PLDT, and it's quite big, right? And they were able to feature us. Okay, what happened here is that there's this supplier of baking goods who actually asked us if we can help in supplying food products for the frontliners. And we were able to do it. We were able to make pandesal, okay, for the security, for the nurses, for the doctors, and etc. And we were actually featured on the website and the Facebook page of Smart Telecommunication. And it's quite good for us. Why? The community are actually thanking us, and even, okay, the people around in our area, okay, they are seeing our efforts in helping the community. And it's one way of making your brand, okay, better compared to your competitors. Why? Aside from the fact that we are still operating, we are still able to, okay, help the people who are in need within our own ways. Okay, moving on, human resources. So these are the people who are working for you. Always remember to invest in employees. Okay, don't just get people who will just work and do things done, no? Na parang you don't care on their well-being and etc. So I try to make sure that the
Chef
rates.
Ray,
Yes.
I'm sorry to butt in, but your presentation is not working po.
Okay, one
Still
second.
in the slide number 2 po.
Um, okay, one second. Okay, nasa slide 2 pa lang.
Yes po, Chef. Hindi po siya mag-ano.
Okay, can you see it now? No. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, Chef.
Okay, so please inform me if it's moving or not. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so can you see this one? So this is the post that Smart Telecommunication provided us, and it actually helped us in our marketing as well. Aside from the fact that we actually help the community. Okay, human resources. Can you see the slide?
Sir, no po.
Okay, one second. Okay, this way, can you see the slide?
Yes po, Chef.
So I will not, I will just show it this way. I cannot turn or make it full screen, okay, because it's stopping. Okay, so invest in employees, let them grow with you. Implement a positive culture okay, within the employees, try to empower them as well. Okay, if there are things that you can thank them, try to thank them even in the smallest things that they are actually trying or doing in your business. Yeah. If they're cleaning your kitchen very well, okay, try to thank them and give them the praise that they need. It will actually help them, okay, boost their morale. And then, but of course, even if you're friendly with your employees, okay, try to be firm with the policies that you have in your establishment. Because at times, though, because if you're too friendly with your employees, sometimes aabusuhin nila yon. And what you can do is make sure you have your policies that can actually guide them on how they can act whenever they're in your establishment. Okay, so that will be your guide. Can you see the screen? Can you still see the screen?
Sir, we can see it po.
You can see it.
Yes po.
Okay, what is happening? Okay, Twyla, can you use your
Sir, we can see it na po. It's in the slide number 5.
slide number 5. So may slow down, no? Okay, so if you're familiar with this person, so he is actually the founder of the Marriott chain of hotels. Okay, he mentioned that take good care of your employees and they'll take good care of your customers and the customers will come back. So just remember, if you are treating your employees well, they will actually do things, okay, beyond their work. They will go an extra mile. And that extra mile can actually please your customers and customers will keep on coming back. That's why if your employees are not performing well, okay, one possible reason is that, okay, their employers are not treating them properly. So take note of that because you will be the future leaders of this industry. Okay, can you see the slide about finance?
Yes po, Chef.
Okay, so for the finance, no, this is about money. Okay, marami sa inyo nag-answer kanina, this is one of the problems, no, that they've encountered, nawalan sila ng pera. Okay, ensure to have an emergency fund for any scenario that may occur. Either if it's a pandemic o kahit ano man na pwedeng mangyari, make sure that you are ready. Meron kang extra fund that you keep. Okay, kunwari, kumita ka ng, let's say, 300,000 on this month. Okay, make sure to a certain percentage will go to that emergency fund para at least meron kang pangsalo, okay, for a longer period of time tulad na itong pandemic. But what happened to us, no? We actually use, okay, the threat or the pandemic and transform it into our opportunity. What happened during that time? Goldilocks was closed, Red Ribbon was closed. Okay, the movement of the people are restricted. Only food deliveries are allowed to travel. And we actually used that. And we were able to actually get a net profit of 200,000 for selling the cakes alone on that, I think if I'm not mistaken, that was April or May. And it was really a big help for us. Okay. Then look into your financial statements regularly. Okay, interpret and make necessary actions. Like for example, if you're already facing the pandemic, if you need to adjust things on how you operate it, remember your cost control, do it in a timely manner. Huwag mong hintayin na naubos na yung funds mo, then saka ka palang gagawa ng action. And that will be too late already. Sometimes you just need to shut down the operation. And then control costs effectively. Okay, the least thing that I wanted to do, okay, is actually lessen, okay, the duty hours of my employees. Because there are these employers who actually parang reduce the number of hours for the employees para makasurvive sila. And to the point no, na hindi sila nakakapag-perform ng mas maayos and wala silang naibebenta kasi walang empleyado. And that's the problem no, because for me, no, that's the least thing that you want to do is to reduce the funds for your employees. So sila pa rin yung pinaka nila. Okay, modern day businessmen, entrepreneurs, they are actually, their main concern are the customers, and their second concern right now, it's not the profit, but it's the employees. Okay, so if you're going to deal with the finance, okay, try to work it with your employees, and they'll be the first people to understand on what is happening. I myself, I'm very transparent with what is happening in the business. I give them the numbers as well on how much we are earning, how much we are spending on this and that, and they are actually understanding things better. Okay? The third one. So these are actually all areas of the business, but sometimes no people fail to actually look into these things. Okay, adapting to the requirements of the pandemic. Pero mga ibang product, no, namatay sila bigla-bigla kasi they were not able to adapt with the requirements, no? So, sara na lang natin kasi hindi naman tayo magbebenta. Or others, what they actually did, uh, ginawa nila, no, sabi nila, hintayin na lang natin matatapos din tong pandemya na to after a month, after 2 months. Nangyari na 1 taon. Right now, no, we're about to go on our second year next year. And hindi pa rin nakakaahon to the point na ang dami na nagsara. Even the big names, no, in the food industry, they needed to shut down some of their branches. Okay? So you need to adapt in a timely manner. Sobrang bilis mo talaga. Okay, this is the advantage of those people who are very reactive because they take action ng very fast. Ako, I myself, no, I'm parang aminin ko na ako very reactive, no. I try to do things ng very fast, no, lalo na kung kailangan na kailangan, no. Okay, the next one is reassessing the needs and wants of the customers. Tingnan mo kung anong kailangan nila. If you're selling this kind of product, how are you going to bring these products to these people if there are so many constraints? But luckily, the food service industry, no, that time, no, meron silang special privilege. Why? Because they are allowed to bring items to these people. And some were really afraid, who are really afraid to take risks. Nagsara sila kasi ayaw nilang mahawa or ayaw nila. But there are so many ways that you can do, no, para hindi ka magkaroon nun. And try to just research po. Okay, timely and relevant decisions. Very important to in the operations. Kung meron hindi magawa, okay, try to make another decision, okay, na very relevant and very timely para ma-deliver nyo itong mga products and services to your customers. Okay, just like what happened to us, no? I used to have my physical store away from the commissary. So ibig sabihin, I produce my items in this certain location and then we just bring it to this location. During the time of the pandemic, what happened was I needed to shut down the physical store. We closed it for a year. But take note, when we shut down the physical store, our operations, we never stop. Why? Okay? We relied more on online orders, and then we were able to produce items that are ordered in advance. So ibig sabihin, wala kaming wastage during that time. Lahat in-order lang nila in advance. And ang taas ng profit during that time, no? Okay, study and revisit the supply chain management of the business. If you can, kasi ang nangyari sa atin, no, we always rely on the location. And nowadays, because it's the digital age already, no, try not to just wait for customers to come. You need to go to the customers and try to offer your products and services. But how are you going to do that? No? Meron tayong social media marketing, no? You can actually do the basic things, no? If you want to do flyering, pwede mo rin gawin yon during the time of the pandemic. But again, it will be about your passion and how you want to stay in the industry. Minsan kasi, pag sobrang driven ka, no, because you want to stay in business, yun yung nagpo-push sa'yo. para magstay doon. But again, you need to assess yourself what you can do and what you cannot do. Kasi minsan pag masyadong believe ka naman sa sarili mo, hindi mo naman nami-meet yung expectations ng mga customers, and that will really harm your business more. Okay, moving on. Okay, can you still see the screen? Okay, technology. Okay, kahit anong klaseng business ka, kahit maliit man lang yan, even if it's karinderya, okay, even if it's a big establishment, like if you have a commissary kitchen, you really need to think of technology. Okay? Hindi naman ibig sabihin ng technology, no? Because technology is actually costly, but there are some technologies that are actually very cheap that you can use, okay, para ma-boost mo yung operations ng business mo. Like for example, in marketing, instead of you printing tarpaulins that are not environmentally friendly, you may use the Facebook ads, no? You will spend only, before no, it started only with 40 pesos, the minimum, and then hundreds of people to thousands of people can actually see those posts. And they can be your potential market already. Ang galing lang neto, no, you can actually set on who are the people you want to target. And to tell you this, no, the ladies or the female people, no, sila ang mas nagre-respond pagdating sa pagkain. Okay? So siguro mahilig talaga kumain ng mga babae, no? Pero sila ang majority ng bumibili sa amin. Siguro if we will going to discuss the numbers, no, around 80% of our clientele are women. So if you're into this food business, baka gusto nyong sila yung targeting. Okay? Moving on, research and development. Can you see the screen for the research and development?
Yes po, Chef.
Okay, for the research and development, enhance resiliency with the proper research and development that can improve performance of the establishment. I know, no, for students, when you hear the word research, no, ayoko yan, no, nakakapagod yan, thesis, no. But in the real world, no, ito yung what we are trying to appeal in the academy. Make researches, okay, that will be applicable in the future for the students. Okay, when we talk about research, like for example, product development, what products can appeal to the people, di ba? Ito yung mga gagawin mo. Or how will this product move from the production side, okay, to the customers? Or how, what is the most effective way in marketing for this certain segment of people? So ito yung mga researches na you can actually apply when you are owning a business, no? Lahat ng gagawin mo, as much as possible, it should be based on research or development. A simple research will do. Ano ba yung kailangan ng mga tao? You don't just make products because you're good at it, no? Kung wala naman may kailangan ng product na yon, and masasayang lang yung product. Kahit ikaw pa ang pinakamasarap na gumawa ng cake, if there's no market for that, no, and hindi nila kailangan yung ganong klaseng cake, it will die naturally. So you don't want that to happen. So make sure to back it up with a proper research and development of your product. Ang mga nabubuhay ng mga businesses right now, they have this certain department na gumagawa ng product development nila, gumagawa ng research. Okay? Kaya mapapansin mo, big companies, they sometimes try to copy other food items of another company because they're trying to reverse engineer it. They do benchmarking, okay, para makasunod sila. Okay? Pero again po, no, when you do research and development, it's not about copying, it's not only inventing. You try to innovate as well, no? You can actually imitate. Why not? As long as it's still good for the business, no? Again, no, pwede nyong gawin yon with the use of research and development. Okay? Okay, try to remember these things, no? Be grounded with your philosophy, vision, and mission. Okay, when you start a business, try to set these things. Your philosophy, your vision, and mission. Sabihin nyo, ano ba yan? Kalokohan yan. Nakikita namin yan. Pinapamemorize yan sa amin pag accreditation, yung philosophy, vision, and mission. Okay, you need to have these things because it will guide you in making your decisions, okay, sa pag-run ng business mo. Lahat dito mo ibabase. You just don't decide because it's a fad or it's happening, no, na parang maraming gumagawa nito. It's not like that, no. You need to be grounded with this. Okay? Then know your capabilities. There are so many things that I've mentioned, like research and development, marketing. If you're not good with that particular area of business, you try to get the expertise of the people who can actually help you in that area. Huwag mong solohin if you're not adept with it. If you need help, ask for experts. Maybe in time now, while you're asking help from these experts, matutunan mo kung paano nila ginagawa, and then you can do it on your own. Especially for the beginners, no? Try not to experiment because hindi ito yung pera natin na mawawala na siya. And pag in-experiment mo siya, para ka nagsugal, no? Taking the risk without even calculating what will happen, no? So, yun. Widen your network, okay? Wherever you go, it's really hard for an HM student to actually start a business. Why? Most of your friends are also HM. HM din sila. Marunong sila magganito dahil marunong din ikaw gumawa ng ganito, no? So you go with another network, no? Maghanap kayo kung sino yung mga ibang taong pwede nyo makakonekta. Like for example, if you have organizations, no? You can actually join this organization because they can support you in the future. Or maybe kahit tumutulong ka sa simbahan or tumutulong ka sa barangay, okay, that network can actually spread what you are offering as your product and service. Okay, the next one is give importance to loyal customers. These loyal customers will actually fight for you. Like for example, no, I remember I have this post, no, there's this customer na parang nambabash siya. And I have a number of customers, loyal customers, who will actually fight for my business. Hindi ako nagsasalita, pero sila ang nakikipagsagutan doon sa business. And you know you are doing a good deed, no? Or you're doing a good thing sa business mo kasi talagang alam mo na sila mismo, they can vouch for the quality of your products and service. And that's a big thing, no? Kaya nga pag, if you try to visit my Facebook page, we're running already on our 20, if I'm not mistaken, 24,000 for the followers. And it's quite big number. And we're only 5 years in the business. So siguro it is one way kung paano kami nakasurvive the pandemic because I was able to actually establish the Facebook page of my business, no? Then transform irritation to inspiration. Okay, anong ibig sabihin nito? Whatever that is irritating you, okay? Like for example, if you go to a restaurant, ano yung kinaasaran mo? Okay? Pag yun ang line ng business mo, transform it para hindi mo maranasan yung ganong irritation, transform it into a service or a product na magkakaroon ng innovation. And that irritation will go to an inspiration to make a product and service, okay, that is more relevant to the market. No? Kaya minsan, mga taong mareklamador, those are the people who you want to actually work with. Kasi sila, doon mo malaman kung ano yung mga reklamo nila. And even customer reviews, no, I actually serious ako with the customer reviews. If I get negative reviews, talaga nire-review ko what is happening, no, and ano ang nangyaring scenario, I investigate. And then I try to list them down so that it will not happen again. And for the past 5 years, medyo naiiwasan namin yung guest complaints kasi na-address namin yung mga bagay na yun. Because people are irritated with it and then we try to change things, change the process kung paano namin mas mapapaganda. Even the ordering of food products before, nagkakagulo ang customers during the pandemic. Why? Because it's a first come, first serve basis. Kapag hindi sila nakakuha sa amin, wala silang cake nung araw na yun. And it was really good thing for us, no? Kasi continuous yung money na pumapasok sa amin. Never underestimate your service product. Ibig sabihin, huwag mong mamaliitin kung ano yung ginagawa mo, especially if you're proud with your product. Why? There are entrepreneurs who would normally always sell their products at a very low price. To the point na, kasi ganito ang presyo ni ganitong establishment, kailangan mas mababa ako para sa akin pumunta. It's not always like that. You only use penetration pricing when you are just new in the market. But if you have the quality, pwede mo pang mas taasan ng price kasi marami tayong pricing strategies that you may want to revisit, no? So just like me, no, nandun ako sa middle ngayon, no? I'm trying to move into the premium pricing, pero the proper timing is very important. Pero hindi na ako pumupunta doon sa mas mababang presyo. Not anymore because alam mo kung ano yung worth mo, no? Then transform threats to opportunities. Whatever threats that is happening in your business. Okay, remember we have internal and external factors that can affect your business. Lahat ng mga external factors na pwedeng makaano sa'yo, makasira sa business mo, try to address it at an early stage. Para pag dumating na sila, I am ready. Kaya kitang harapin at hindi mo ako basta-basta mapapabagsak. And then maximize your resources. Whatever you have, tools, equipment, people, try to maximize them, no? Lalo na if you need to replace your product or your service kasi hindi ito mabenta ngayon, you might want to maximize other resources and create other things that you don't normally sell. Just like with our first speaker, no? Remember, nag-sell sila ng bagoong kasi meron sila noon pero before they don't used to sell it. Pero nakapaggawa rin siya ng business. And let me end this presentation. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. Yung kaya makapag-adapt, siya ang nakaka-survive. So, ibig sabihin, kahit hindi ka matalino, but you know how to adapt, no? Okay? Of course, education can actually help you, but applying it is a different story. Thank you very much, and I hope you learned something today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef Andaya, for that inspiring ideas on how to survive in the food business during these unavoidable circumstances. Before we proceed to question and answer, allow us to greet in Facebook. Ms. Pia Ponsalan Rico, Ms. Sheila Seniza from Liceo de Cagayan University, and Ms. Mabel Liza Cagado.
And also, we would like to shout out Mr. Carlo Narvaez, BSI HM Clauca, third-year student from Lyceum of the Philippines, Laguna. And Ms. Princess Audrey E. Cañeda, School of Management and Entrepreneurship, Biliran, Province of State University.
And now we are now open for question and answers. Speakers. First question for the both speakers from Ms. Pia Punsalan Rico. What advice can you give to new entrepreneurs or to those who wanted to start their business during this pandemic?
So I think my advice is never be afraid to try new things. If you're thinking of a business, there is no really harm in trying it because business nga is all about taking risk. Pero di ba nga, if you listen to Chef Reynald, andun na lahat eh. So yun lang naman, you have to take risks talaga.
Thank you, Ms. Pao. Sir Andaya.
Good afternoon again. No, for the newbies sa entrepreneurial activities, no, siguro you really need to be very strong, not only physically, very important siguro emotionally. Okay, masyadong maraming ups and downs pagdating sa business, no? And sometimes when you're doing good, you will pat yourself, I'm really good. Pero kapag depressing, when you see your sales na ganito lang siya, oh my God, what am I doing? Wala ata ako natutunan sa school. And I myself, though, it's really hard for me not to do good in business. Why? Because I'm teaching in universities. And kapag hindi ko nagawa ng tama ito, parang magko-question yung mga students, you're teaching us this and why are you not doing well in your business? So for those na be strong with physically, be strong din sa inyong mentally, no? And of course, always seek guidance spiritually. Whatever your religion is, it can actually give balance to your life, no? Kapag may problema ka, you ask or you seek help of kung ano man ang religion mo, no? It will actually help you.
Thank you for answering the question, Ms. Pau and Chef Ray and Daya. For our second question from Mr. Israel Jan Andino, for also the both speakers, it says that other than sales, what is the downfall during this pandemic?
So I think no, business wise, sales yung downfall. But then for me, kailangan din natin i-address yung mental health natin during this pandemic. Kasi what if you're not mentally ready ngayong pandemic na to? So we have to be strong kasi nga, yun nga nag-downfall na nga yung sales mo, tas ikaw pa mentally, hindi ka pa ready. So kailangan mo siyang i-address talaga. And you have to think of things na paano ako magsusurvive ulit.
Siguro on my experience, yung siguro ang downfall, no, we are actually taking good care of our health in terms of by employees, no, kasi this is the thing here, they are actually working within my property kasi nilipat ko yung the commissary is within my house, so if ever they will catch COVID-19, no, pati ako madadamay. So even if we have a big number of orders, no, ang ginagawa namin, we only try to limit what we can actually do. Hindi pwedeng super effort na parang, siguro kahit naman sa normal days, no, wag natin masyadong pwersahin yung mga empleyado natin. Meron tong maximum capacity lang na pwedeng gawin. Or else, yun na, emotionally magkakaroon niya ng problema. Feeling nila, inaapi sila. Mentally, no, pagod na sila. And physically, kapag pagod sila, mas mabilis silang mahawaan. And if for those who are actually following me on my Facebook, whatever I'm eating or posting in my Facebook page, that is the same food that we are actually giving our employees. Kaya mapapansin nyo, kung ako'y lumaki, ganun din sila ang paglaki din nila, no? It's because I'm taking good care of them for food, no? Nutrition-wise, kailangan healthy yung food nila. So, para hindi mo maabot na yung pagbaba na yun. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, yung sa akin kasi sa sales, hindi ako masyadong naging affected. Kasi tumaas yung sa akin. But again po, no, mabilis lang na action. Yun siguro ang pinaka-importante para hindi ka bubaba.
Thank you. Next question for the both of our speaker from Miss Maris Antamondong. How does the social media affect your business during this time of pandemic?
Ako based dun sa natutunan ko kay Chef Reynald, kasi we're not really that active talaga in social media. So parang ngayon nung nag-pandemic na, so parang we all resorted to online selling na. So parang ngayon, I think we have to boost talaga our market and to build din a market through online. And I think it helped our business na din ngayon kasi parang they will always ask us in the page kung open ba kami, kung ano bang available na ganito, nagpapa-reserve sila like that. And I think ngayon, it's time na rin for us to yung boost our online presence talaga. So thank you, Chef Reynald, sa mga tips. Ang dami ko pong natutunan.
You're welcome po. Ayun, siguro on my end, sa social media marketing, no, ito yung pinakagamit ko. Pero there was a time, no, in 5 years pa lang kasi ang Las Abelas. But there was a time that I realized that social media marketing is not for all. Okay? Bakit? Siguro on our second or third year, I realized that most of our clienteles, no, na talagang pumupunta sa amin are not actually social media users, no? So mga lola, mga senior citizen. So doon namin na-realize when we started giving flyers, no? Isa-isa sa loob kasi kami ng village. binigyan namin ng isa-isa, nagkaroon ng change. Nag-double yung kanilang sales noon during that time. It's because we try to make use of a marketing effort na suitable for your clientele. So, wag din tayo mag-stick. Like for example, social media is very powerful right now, but again, there are so many competitors. And right now, the 40 pesos before that you are actually using for Facebook advertisement can actually reach around 1,500 clients. Right now, your 50 pesos will only yield 600 people na lang siya. So bumaba siya ng 50%. So ibig sabihin nagmahal ang pagpapa-advertise kasi nga maraming gumagamit. Okay? So ang gawin mo, gawa ka ng mix. Siguro yun ang pinaka-best, no? Don't just rely on social media marketing. Kasi ganito yan. When we started, we were targeting the students who are users of Pero nga, na-realize namin that it's not the students who are actually getting our products. It's the young professionals hanggang papunta sa senior citizen. And sila yung may pera talaga right now, the students. They have no allowance kasi nasa bahay lang sila. And our market, tuloy-tuloy kasi nga may pera yung mga mama, mga lola, tuloy-tuloy pa rin sila. Ayun.
Yes, and I think this is the last question from Ms. Ruth Valeros to the both speakers. It says that, what concerns do you have about your business as we proceed through reopening, recovery, and continued operations during the COVID-19 pandemic? And how do you and your team stay motivated?
So the first concern is, syempre, we're not really fully recovered pa sa COVID-19. So hindi rin natin alam kung ano yung kung sino-sino yung mga pumapasok. Kasi in our business, we are a restaurant, di ba? So lahat ng mga tao, hindi naman natin mamamonitor yan lahat. So our main concern is, baka mamaya may carrier ng COVID, di ba? So sa amin naman, sa what we do to stay motivated is, we always follow the protocols kung ano man yung guidelines from the government. So yun naman, and we're also motivating our staff na parang ngayon lang din naman ngayon lang tong pandemic na to, and siguro in the future mas magiging okay ulit yung restaurant. Yun lang.
Chef Ray, your mic is...
Okay, ayan. Siguro for me, before I mention yung concerns ko na lang, with kasi nasa partial operation ako right now, let me just thank first a number of people who actually helped me along the way in this business, It was actually PW who actually molded me in this industry. No, siguro even if I'm teaching right now or connected with University of Santo Tomas, I'm a proud Philomanian that I was trained by Dr. Milagros Magsano with Dr. Pablo, and Dr. Ligaya Braganza. So this mentor, so even in the graduate school for CBIB, before pa mangyari ang pandemic, they actually prepared me. So sila yung nagsabi sa akin, eto ang gawin mo, yan ang gawin mo, and etc. While you are students right now, some of the things that your professors are actually telling you may not be relevant, kasi hindi pa naman ikaw magbe-business. But again, sooner or later, pag nagkaroon ka ng business, all the things that your professors are actually telling you can actually help you in the future. I'm really thankful with, like for example, with Miss Mabel, she was my professor before, with Miss Joy and even Sir Pike, I'm actually getting their feedbacks, Hindi ako yung parang sasabihin ko na I'm really good with what I'm doing. I always credit the people who are actually helping. Siguro in reopening, you really need to think of what is more important to you. You need to streamline what you can actually offer in your industry. Hindi pwedeng sari-sari. Hindi pwedeng masyadong marami nangyayari. Kasi remember, if you have so many inventory in your business, it will entail cost and it will be harder for you to control those things. So ang pwede mong gawin, try to streamline it, no? Like for me, we have rice meals as well. Before that, the dine-in ng families namin. Pero we needed to stop the operation for dine-in, KY, kasi takot kami magkaroon ng COVID. No? And even the dining facility. And to tell you, even the fixed costs, we try to sort it out. Tinanggal namin ang physical store namin, gumawa kami ng physical store na kung saan we don't need to pay anything. You control all your costs. So ngayon, instead of us paying 10,000 per month for this rent, we are earning the 10,000. So you need to be ready kapag magre-reopen ka ulit and you need to just streamline your operations. Okay, so yun lang. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Cabrega and Chef Ray Andaya. I think that's all for the question and answer. Furthermore, for awarding of the certificates for our speakers, Philippine Women's University hereby awards this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Pauline Ann J. Cabrega in grateful and sincerest gratitude for her selfless and commendable service rendered as resource speaker during the conduct of the webinar entitled Entrepreneur, How to Ride the Tides of the Pandemic. Given this first day of July 2021, organized by the MICE class section HM3-01 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines. Signed by Dr. Efraimel Jose L. Abellana, Dean of School of Hospitality Management, and Mr. Robin T. Meneses, Faculty, School of Hospitality Management.
Thank you, Ms. Cabrega. Philippine Women's University hereby awards this certificate of appreciation to Chef Reynald Andaya in grateful and sincerest gratitude for his selfless and commendable service rendered as resource speaker during the conduct of webinar entitled Entrepreneur, How to Ride the Tides of the Pandemic, given this first day of July 2021, organized by the MICE class section HM3-01 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines. Signed by Dr. Efraimel Jose L. Abellana, Dean of School of Hospitality Management, and Mr. Robin T. Meneses, Faculty, School of Hospitality Management.
Thank you po. Thank you for sa admin po ng PW and sa School of Hospitality Management.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Pauline Cabrega and Chef Andaya. What a great day! It has been a pleasure seeing and hearing both of you sharing your stories and information for all of us today. It just shows that this pandemic will not hold our students back from learning. We thank you all for joining and participating in our webinar.
We also thank everyone who made this webinar today possible. Of course, our beloved school, the Philippine Women's University, the PWU Media Center, Dr. Menchita Damlao, our department, School of Hospitality Management. To our professor who make this event possible, Sir Robin Meneses.
And to formally close the program, we would like to take this opportunity to give credits to the people behind this webinar. For the event organizer, Ms. Maris Ann Tamondong. For the documentation team, Ms. Lorelai Ampi Perez and Girly Jane Katigbak. For the invitation and certificate, Mr. Noel Inso and Christian Noam Zafe.
And for the registration and evaluation, Mr. Lee Roger Sipcon and Ms. Jamela Napolis. For the auditors, Ms. Bianca Isabel Sangalang and Ms. Aisel Marquez. And us, your host, Ms. Jans Marinela Kilario and Ms. Yves Laurent Lamore. Before we formally close the program, we would like to invite everyone to join us in singing the Philippine Women's University hymn, followed by the photo op.